Hello class, welcome back to some more lectures after a good review week and test week, which everyone did so well on. We're back to learning this week. Even though it's a short week, I have this presentation about enzymes so that we can learn a little bit. So enzymes, I wanted to start by just reviewing our macromolecule stuff. This is this table that you were asked to fill out in your test. And I asked you for our functions, and under our proteins, one of them was catalyzed reaction. Most of people put move molecules or transport molecules, but some did say catalyzed reactions, which is awesome. We're going to be focusing on enzymes, which are a type of protein that help us catalyze reactions. So just wanted to tie in what we are learning to our previous information about macromolecules. So before we get started, I also wanted to review some chemistry stuff. So a chemical reaction happens where we have our reactants, these things on our left side of our equation, and then an arrow, which goes to our products. So our reactants are this methane and oxygen, which come together to make carbon dioxide, CO2, and water. So this is what is called a combustion reaction. This happens every time there is fire. So anytime we see fire, this is what's going on. But we forgot one important thing. We forgot that each one of these arrows means that we have to put in energy. If we put these two molecules next to each other, nothing will happen unless we introduce some energy, and that's why our fires get so warm, is because we have this energy that we have to put into the system, put into our reaction. So it's always important to remember every chemical reaction takes a certain amount of energy. So I have a quick little video for you guys that I'm going to link in our classrooms like we've done before, so please pause this video and go watch this one, which is linked. And then we will be talking about what is an enzyme. So our overall topic for today is enzymes. We've talked about catalysts before, and especially when we talked about our proteins. So catalyst is a process by which a substance speeds up a reaction without being used. So that's to catalyze. So a catalyst is the substance itself, which helps speed up the reaction without being used. So it's important to know that as we look back at our reaction, that our catalyst would not go under our reactants and would not show up in our products. It is a separate substance that we use to help speed up a reaction. And an enzyme controls the rate at which chemical reactions proceed without itself being changed. So it's very similar to our definition of a catalyst, and it is also called, an enzyme is also called a biological catalyst. So catalyst is more of a chemistry term, whereas when we talk about biology, we will use enzymes. So it's always a good reminder that if it's underlined, it's really important, and I want you guys to make sure you know that and have that written in your notebooks. So there are 4 types of enzymes. I do not want you guys to know this, but I thought I would introduce it to you. So our first type is our acid or bases enzymes. So those are first off, an acid is a proton acceptor. An acid is a proton donor and a base is a proton acceptor. So what that means is our enzymes will physically move our protons from one part of the molecule, from our acidic side of the molecule to our basic side of the molecule. When we think of acid and bases, some good things to think about for acids are our stomach has acid in it. So when we have an upset stomach, we'll take a medicine called Tums or an antacid, which is a base. So we put in something that will go and make our acid less reactive, kind of absorb all of those protons. So this enzyme will help with that, and it will just move our protons around for us. We have covalent enzymes. So there are multiple different types of bonds that we have when we have chemicals and compounds and molecules, and a covalent one is a covalent enzyme just separates any molecules that are covalently bonded by using other electrons around. So these enzymes act as an electron sink, which means that to help move some of our electrons that are being shared in our covalent bond, those electrons can go into a large sink, a large molecule, which can hold a lot of electrons, and that allows the covalent bonds to move through and be different and create a different molecule. So another one is an electrostatic enzyme. So this is also a different type of bond. So we have covalent bonds when we talk about different types of bonds, and electrostatic or ionic. So by using opposite charges to control large molecules, our enzymes will be able to kind of alter and move and change molecules just by using their different charges. So we talked about different charges when we talked about water a lot, and how water has two separate partial charges, a positive and a negative. So these are full charges, not partial charges, that are used to move and get molecules to be controlled. So a good example is DNA polymerase, which is an enzyme that works on DNA, contains a lot of positive ions because our DNA molecule is a very negative molecule. So it can attract really well to our DNA because opposite charges attract, and then it can hold on to the DNA well because of all its positive charge. And then the last one is simply just proximity and orientation. So a lot of the time is we need to get not only the right molecules in the right area, but we need them to line up very nicely. So maybe if they hit head to head, they won't react, and they need to react side by side. So this enzyme will literally just take them and put them together. So those are 4 different types, and maybe some chemistry review that you guys may or may not know. So how does our enzyme affect our activation energy? Well, let's first define our activation energy. Our activation energy is the energy it takes to complete a chemical reaction. And the very important part is our enzymes lower our activation energy. So when we look at this little chart, I can help explain this. This is our Gibbs free energy, or really just how much energy it takes for a reaction to occur. So here are our reactants. If we look back, to go all the way back to the beginning, we have our reactants and our products, and we need energy. And so when we look at our chart, our reactants, our products, and we need this amount of energy to overcome or to allow our molecules to react. So without, this says activation energy of an uncatalyzed reaction, or a reaction without a catalyst or an enzyme, we have to go much higher and takes much more energy than that of a reaction with a catalyzed reaction. So enzymes lower activation energy. That is really important. So our enzymes and catalysts help reactions occur with less energy needed. They allow our reactions to occur faster because there's less energy needed. We can have more of them with less energy. So yeah, I just kind of explained this on the other side. I'd love for you guys to write this down and just understand these 2 curves. So our first taller curve is an uncatalyzed reaction, or a reaction without an enzyme, and this second smaller curve is when we put in an enzyme or a catalyst. So we have our energy on the left, on our y-axis, and our reaction, the time it takes our reaction, on the bottom. So if you could just sketch this in your notes, I think that would be a really important thing to remember. The other thing is, when we talk about enzyme reactions, they have 3 major parts. Of course, we have our enzyme, we have our substrate, which is the molecule being acted on by the enzyme, and then we have an active site, which is the part of the enzyme which binds to the substrate. So I'd love for you guys to draw this in your notes as well. So pause the video, and just so we can understand exactly how this works, our active site matches our substrate. So if this was a different substrate floating around, it wouldn't be able to go into our enzyme. Only the exact substrate for this exact enzyme can work. And then once it's in the active site, it can go through our chemical reaction. So This is a great example, and I even thought it was a little bit Halloween-like because it's the beginning of November. We still wanted to bring in a little bit of Halloween. We have a nice little enzyme that looks like a bat, and our substrate, which fits perfectly in this little mold, this little hole or active site. Then our enzyme and substrate will combine, and we will have our reaction right here until we form our product, and our enzyme will let go of our substrate, and it will now be two separate things, or sometimes our enzymes will take two things and put them together. So it just depends on the enzyme, but that's one way for it to work. And just one last thing I would want you guys to draw is a very simplified version of this picture. So this is what I like to draw. This is like our little Pac-Man looking molecule. So this is our enzyme and our substrates out here. If we had maybe our product wouldn't be able to go into this other enzyme because it's a different shape. So only a triangle pizza looking shape can go in. Then we have our enzyme and our substrate together, and our reaction can occur. And then we have our free enzyme again and our product. So this enzyme now can go and grab a different pizza, a different substrate, and continue going on and on in its reactions. So that is all I have for enzymes. Please make sure to watch all the videos, and if you have any questions, as always, please let me know.